All right, so let's jump right into this deep dive all about real estate tech. Our listener wants to know if AI for lead generation is, worth all the hype and how it compares to, just buying leads the traditional way. And we've got all your research right here, articles on AI systems like AIH and Athena, as well as, some good old-fashioned lead lists. But before we even get into, the specifics of how all this works, there was one statistic that really kind of blew my mind. Ready for this?
Hit me with it.
Some realtors, get this, are spending over $2,500 to get just one single client,
Wow.
with close rates as low as like 0.4%.
Yeah, it is pretty mind-boggling when you think about it, like that. A 2023 National Association of Realtors report, NAR, found that the average close rate on purchased online leads is somewhere between 0.4 and 1.2%.
Oh, wow.
So for every 100 leads you get, you might just close one single deal.
It really makes you wonder how anyone who relies only on purchased leads can even, stay in business. So walk me through this. Like, what's making these leads perform so poorly?
Well, the issue, a lot boils down to lead quality. Many purchase leads are considered cold. These are individuals who haven't expressly asked to, be contacted by a realtor. Their contact info might be on a list just because, they filled out like a form online ages ago, and they haven't expressed any real interest in buying or
So
selling.
you're saying they're getting all these calls from like tons of realtors, even though they never like asked to be on these lists in the first place.
Exactly. And then there's, another problem on top of that, lack of exclusivity. Lead generation companies, they'll often sell the same lead to multiple realtors. So you have all these agents, practically tripping over each other to try to reach out first, and they're all fighting for that, same like tiny pool of clients.
I can see how that would create a really frustrating experience,
Yeah.
for everyone, the realtor, the potential client. And the whole process just feels very like transactional,
Hmm.
instead of actually building any kind of relationship. We actually have a quote here from Sarah Jones, a veteran real estate agent, who says, "Purchased leads are often recycled, outdated, and frankly uninterested. You're essentially cold calling people who never asked to hear from you."
Yeah.
Kind of drives home the point.
It does. And Sarah's right. It goes beyond just wasting money. Think about the opportunity cost. Yeah. Like imagine spending 15 to 20 hours every week on these, dead-end leads when you could be spending that time on other activities with a much higher return on investment.
Yeah, 15 to 20 hours. That's a huge chunk of time. There's a California Association of Realtors study that found that agents actually do spend roughly that amount of time like prospecting every week. That's a lot of time that could be, spent doing something else more productive. Now let's shift gears a little and talk about AI-powered systems like AIH and Athena. Your research suggests they're doing things very differently.
Yeah, they are. These systems represent a pretty major shift in how we think about lead generation. It's less about casting a really wide net and hoping for the best, and it's more about, targeting specific people with the help of automation.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do these systems actually work?
Well, imagine a system that can analyze like massive amounts of data,
Mm.
online behavior, demographics, search queries, all to find individuals who are actively looking for real estate services in a specific area.
Yeah.
That's what AIH and Athena do. They use AI and machine learning to pinpoint those warm leads, the people who are ready to engage.
So they're all about finding the right people at the right time. But what happens after that?
Well, that's where the automation comes in. The AI system handles the initial outreach and nurturing, sending personalized messages and content to those potential clients based on their specific needs.
Yeah.
So you're essentially building that rapport before you even have to talk to them directly.
Hold on. So this AI system is practically running the whole lead generation show. Does that mean there's no room left for the realtor's personal touch, or are we heading towards a completely automated sales process?
That's a really good question. While the AI does automate a lot of that initial outreach, it it doesn't replace the human interaction altogether.
Mhm.
It's more like like a tool that frees up realtors to focus on what they do best, building relationships, giving expert advice, and guiding clients through the
I
process.
see. So it's more about like empowering realtors, not replacing them.
Exactly, exactly. It's about using technology to streamline the process and make it more efficient.
And speaking of efficient, one of your articles mentioned that realtors who use AIH have seen their cost per acquisition, or CPA, fall to below $500.
Right.
That's so much less than the $2,500 average we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Plus, they're saving like 10 to 15 hours a week on prospecting. That's a massive boost in productivity.
It is. It is. And it's not just some static system. It's constantly analyzing data and adjusting its approach to improve the lead quality and the conversion rates over time.
Hmm.
So it's always learning and adapting, much like the real estate market itself.
Speaking of adapting, being able to communicate with clients in their preferred language is a huge advantage in today's market. And I understand that AIH and Athena can actually communicate in any language. So does that mean that realtors who use these systems can, really break down those communication barriers and open up like a whole world of opportunities?
Absolutely. Meeting clients where they are, linguistically is so important to building trust and establishing a strong rapport. And these systems can help realtors, connect with a much wider range of clients.
Now, this all sounds really promising, but, we do have to talk about the issue of exclusivity. We've talked about how purchase leads are often shared amongst, multiple agents. Is that also the case with, these AI-generated leads?
That's a great question. Now, while AIH doesn't guarantee exclusivity in the traditional sense, the leads are, so highly targeted that it naturally reduces competition. So instead of, casting this wide net, you're connecting with people who are actively searching for the services you offer in a specific location.
So it's less about like fighting for scraps and more about actually building those meaningful connections with the right people.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Plus, the system's nurturing capabilities let you establish that relationship with the lead before other agents even have a chance to get in touch.
Uh-huh.
So it's about positioning yourself as that expert and providing value from the very first interaction.
So it sounds like it's not just about generating leads. It's about, actually taking control of the entire lead generation process.
That's a great way to put it. And that leads us to another really important point, sustainability. With these systems like AIH and Athena, you're not just, buying leads. You're investing in a system that helps you build a lasting lead generation engine, something that you control.
It seems like owning that system could be a really valuable asset for a real estate business instead of relying on those short-term fixes.
You hit the nail on the head. And this brings us to a larger discussion about the future of the real estate industry.
Oh, absolutely. I was just thinking about that. What are the broader implications of this shift, for the market as a whole
Yeah.
and for buyers and sellers who are navigating this rapidly changing landscape? It seems like there's a lot to unpack there, and I think, it'll probably take us a while to really delve into it all.
It really is a deep
You
dive.
know what? I think it's time to, maybe shift gears a bit and explore those questions in our next segment.
Okay.
We'll be back after a quick.
Wait, before we move on, you mentioned that some realtors are spending, over $2,500 per client acquisition using those traditional methods. But then you said that, AIH boasts this guaranteed return on investment with a much lower CPA. A guaranteed ROI sounds, almost too good to be true. How do they actually pull this off? What safeguards do they have in place? I think, wouldn't that be really valuable information for our listener before we move on?
You are absolutely right. I got so caught up in the comparison, I almost forgot to unpack that crucial detail. A guarantee of ROI is a bold statement, and it definitely deserves a closer look. Let's delve into that right now.
Okay, so let's talk about how AIH approaches this guarantee. Okay, so let's talk about how AIH approaches this guarantee. It's not, just some like marketing ploy. It
Yeah.
actually reflects their confidence in the system's ability to get those results. Essentially, they structure their whole pricing around performance.
So instead of like paying a flat fee to, just access the system, realtors are essentially paying for results.
Exactly. They only pay when the system actually generates a qualified lead that meets their specific criteria. So it incentivizes AIH to keep refining its algorithms and target those most promising prospects.
That makes sense. They're not just selling, a piece of software. They're selling a service that directly affects a realtor's bottom line. But, what exactly is a qualified lead in AIH's system?
That's a great question. It's not just about grabbing any lead. It's about finding those leads that are genuinely interested and ready to engage. AIH uses a combination of factors to determine that lead quality.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, they look at things like, the lead's online behavior, their search history, the types of properties they're looking at, and how they interact with the AI's automated
Yeah.
messages. All of those data points come together to paint a picture of the leads, their intent and how likely they are to actually become a client.
So it's about going beyond that surface level information and really getting to understand like the why, the motivations and the needs of those potential clients. That's way more advanced than like those old generic lead
Oh,
lists.
absolutely. And by focusing on quality over quantity, AIH can confidently offer that guaranteed ROI. So
Right.
realtors are they're only paying for those leads that are actually likely to convert into real clients.
Okay, that clarifies the ROI guarantee. But I'm curious about, those broader implications of this shift towards AI powered lead generation.
Yeah.
We were just about to touch on that before we, you know, got a little sidetracked.
Mhm.
What does this mean for the market as a whole and for the buyers and sellers who are, kind of navigating this new landscape?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Traditionally, the real estate industry has really relied on intermediaries.
Yeah.
You have agents, brokers, mortgage lenders, appraisers. A whole network of professionals involved in every transaction.
And that can be like a bit daunting for, for buyers and sellers, especially, those who are new to the whole process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But AI has the potential to really streamline a lot of these processes and make those transactions, much smoother and more efficient. Think about those AI powered tools that can instantly analyze market data or assess property values or even pre-qualify buyers for mortgages.
So we're talking about like less paperwork, shorter wait times, and potentially even lower costs for everyone involved.
That's the idea. Now, this doesn't mean that real estate agents are going to become obsolete. Their roles are likely to evolve, and maybe become even more specialized.
I can see that. So as AI takes over those more routine tasks, agents can really focus on providing those higher level services like, that expert negotiation or personalized guidance and like we said before, building those strong relationships with their clients.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They become more like trusted advisors,
Yeah.
helping their clients navigate the complexities of the market and make those informed decisions.
And this shift towards like a more data-driven approach could lead to, greater transparency in the market. I mean, that's something buyers and sellers are always looking for. More information, more clarity, more, just more confidence in those decisions.
Absolutely. Imagine a world where buyers have access to real-time data on property values, market trends, and even, the history of offers made on similar properties.
Hmm.
It can really level the playing field and empower buyers to make those more informed decisions.
It sounds like AI has the potential to make the market more accessible and equitable for everyone.
That's the hope. But of course, we also have to consider the potential challenges that come with any major technological advancement.
Like what kind of challenges are we talking about?
Well, one concern is data privacy. These AI systems they need huge amounts of data to actually function effectively.
Hmm.
So the question becomes, how do we make sure that data is being used responsibly and ethically?
Right.
How do we protect that individual privacy while still using the power of these new technologies?
That's a valid concern. And speaking of, potential downsides, what about the impact on jobs? If AI is automating certain tasks, what happens to the people who are currently doing those jobs?
That's a valid concern, and it's one that we need to be proactive about addressing.
Mm.
As with any technological advancement that automates tasks, there will likely be a need for retraining and upskilling to prepare those workers for new roles in this new real estate landscape.
So it's not about like, resisting the change. It's about adapting to it and
Yeah.
embracing those new opportunities.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that applies to, to individual realtors as well as the industry as a whole. Those who are willing to, to embrace innovation and learn new skills and adapt to the changing needs of their clients, they'll be the ones who thrive in this new era of real estate.
It sounds like there's a lot of, potential for positive change, that also some potential, pitfalls to watch out for.
You summed it up perfectly. It's not a simple black and white situation.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that, we're having these conversations and thinking critically about how AI can be used responsibly and ethically so it benefits everyone involved in the real estate market.
Now let's, circle back to those AI-powered lead generation systems. The research really shows that, that realtors who are using these systems like AIH are seeing really significant results, lower CPAs, time saved on prospecting, and that guaranteed return on investment. It seems like a pretty clear advantage in this, in this competitive market.
It is. But, what's even more important is that these systems are designed to generate,
Yeah.
those really high quality leads. It's not just about quantity. It's about, connecting with those right people who are genuinely interested in buying or selling a property.
So it seems like AI is kind of pushing the industry towards a more personalized and relationship driven approach.
Exactly. And that's where the real value is. When you build those strong relationships with your clients, you build trust, loyalty, and you get repeat business.
Uh-huh.
And that's the foundation of a really successful and sustainable real estate career.
It makes sense that, that a more client-centric approach would benefit everyone involved. But I'm curious, with all these advancements in AI and automation, are there any potential downsides for buyers and sellers that they should be aware of?
That's a really important question. While AI has the potential to make the whole process more efficient and transparent, it's important to be aware of those potential pitfalls.
Can you give me like an example?
One concern is that risk of over-reliance on technology. We have to remember that AI is just a tool. It's not not a replacement for human judgment and expertise. So buyers and sellers should still be working with experienced professionals who can, who can provide that guidance and context and personalized support throughout the whole process.
Right, right. So technology can, it can definitely enhance the experience, but it shouldn't completely eliminate that human element.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to something, as important as buying or selling a home.
I completely agree. And it's also important for buyers and sellers to be aware of that potential for algorithmic bias, something we touched on earlier.
Yes. How can we make sure that these systems are being developed and used in a way that promotes fairness and equal opportunity for everyone?
Right.
How can we make sure that they don't perpetuate those existing inequalities in the housing market?
Yeah. That's a critical concern. And it requires vigilance from both the developers and the users of those systems.
Yeah.
We need to advocate for transparency and accountability in how these algorithms are created and used, and make sure that they're designed to benefit everyone.
So in this new landscape, what advice would you give to buyers and sellers to make sure they're making those informed decisions and working with the right professionals?
Yeah. I think, first and foremost, do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Familiarize yourself with the latest technologies and trends in the real estate market.
Yeah.
Podcasts like this one are a great place to start.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. Stay informed, ask questions, and don't be afraid to challenge those assumptions. When it comes to choosing a realtor, look for someone you trust, someone who is, knowledgeable and responsive and committed to advocating for your best interests. But in this new era, it's also essential to find a realtor who embraces technology and uses it effectively to enhance their services.
So it's about finding that perfect balance of human expertise and technological savvy, someone who understands the data but
Yeah.
also understands, your individual needs and goals.
Exactly. And look for someone who's committed to ongoing learning and professional development.
Uh-huh.
Because the real estate landscape is constantly changing. Staying ahead of the curve is crucial.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive, the pitfalls of buying leads, the advantages of these AI-powered systems, the broader impact of AI on the market and even some of the potential challenges for both, realtors and their clients. It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
But before we wrap things up, I'm wondering if there are any other, emerging trends or innovations in real estate tech that you think our listeners should be aware of. What's on the horizon that could, that could further shape the future of how we buy and sell homes. I think that's a perfect segue into our next segment, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. This field is constantly evolving. There's always something new and exciting being developed.
We'll get ready for another, exciting plunge into the world of real estate tech because we're diving into those emerging trends right after a quick.
Okay, so we're back and we're ready to explore some of those cutting edge trends in real estate tech, the innovations that are, really shaping how we buy and sell homes.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be, to be following these developments. And one trend that's really gaining traction is the use of virtual and augmented reality, VR and AR.
VR and AR in real estate, that sounds like something straight out of like, a sci-fi movie.
It might sound, futuristic, but it's becoming more and more common. Imagine touring a property from your own home using a VR headset. You can walk through the rooms, get a feel for the layout, even check out the view, all without actually being there physically.
Mm.
That would be a total game changer for buyers who are like relocating or maybe they have, limited time to visit properties in person. No more trying to squeeze in like, a dozen showings in a single weekend.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it can also benefit sellers. Think about like virtual staging,
Hmm.
where you can digitally furnish an empty space to help potential buyers, kind of envision the possibilities.
That's brilliant. It could save sellers like so much time and money compared to traditional staging.
Yeah, and for those who do, want to see a property in person, AR can actually like enhance that experience.
Oh, okay.
Imagine, you point your smartphone at a house and then you see, all this information like overlaid on the screen, property details, recent sales data, even nearby amenities.
It's like having like a personal real estate assistant right there in your pocket.
Yeah, it's all about, giving buyers and sellers more information, more convenience, and a really immersive experience.
I love how it combines that cutting edge technology with practical applications.
Yeah, that's the trend we're seeing. Technology is getting more and more sophisticated, but the goal is always to simplify and improve the experience for everyone.
Okay, so VR and AR are definitely, making waves. What other innovations are on the horizon?
Well, blockchain technology is another area to keep an eye on. It has the potential to revolutionize how we buy and sell property by making those transactions more secure, transparent, and efficient.
I've heard about blockchain, but I'll admit it's still a bit of a mystery to me. Can you break it down in simple terms?
Sure, think of blockchain as a decentralized and immutable, digital ledger. It's essentially a massive shared database that records every transaction in a really secure and verifiable way. And in the context of real estate, blockchain can be used to track property ownership, streamline the title search process, and even make those payments faster and more secure.
So we're talking about like, less paperwork, a lower risk of fraud, and a much smoother closing process.
Exactly, exactly. And because blockchain is decentralized, it eliminates the need for intermediaries like escrow companies, potentially saving both time and money.
Blockchain sounds like it could be, like a total game changer for the industry.
It definitely has that potential. It's still early days, but we're already seeing some really innovative applications of blockchain in real estate, and it's likely to become even more prevalent in the coming years.
Okay, so we've got VR and AR and blockchain. Any other trends you're keeping tabs on?
Well, sustainability is becoming increasingly important as people are more and more aware of their environmental impact. Buyers are They're looking for homes that are energy efficient, eco-friendly, and built with sustainable materials.
And it's not just it's not just a trend among buyers. It seems like builders and developers are also, adopting more sustainable practices.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're seeing a growing emphasis on green building certifications, energy efficient appliances, solar panels, and other features that minimize a home's environmental footprint.
So it's not just about, about finding a beautiful and functional home. It's also about finding one that reflects your values and contributes to, to a more sustainable future.
Precisely. And as technology continues to advance, we can you'd expect to see even more innovative solutions for creating homes that are comfortable and convenient and environmentally responsible.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've explored everything from, from AI-powered lead generation to the future of real estate with VR and AR and blockchain and sustainability. Technology is transforming the industry, at such a rapid pace.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic time to be involved in this field. It's fascinating to see how these innovations continue to shape the way we live and interact with the world around us.
Before we wrap up, is there one key takeaway you hope our listener will remember from this deep dive?
I think the most important message is that knowledge is power. The more you know about the latest trends and technologies, the the better prepared you'll be to make those smart decisions about your real estate journey. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, or an agent,
Mm-hmm.
stay curious. Stay engaged, and don't be afraid to embrace those new
Well
possibilities.
said. Well said. To our listener, we hope you've enjoyed this exploration of real estate and technology. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and remember, the future of real estate is in your hands. Until next time, happy house hunting.